I'm psyched to be here. I don't know if anyone's going to be watching, but that's okay because I have this very cool message to share, and I would love it if you, in hearing this message, you would share. So here's the message. Here's the exciting thing. I was just listening. I just came back from a UPW seminar, which was a Tony Robbins seminar. It is called Unleash the Power Within. And if any of you have ever been to a Tony Robbins seminar, you know how much it moves. It can be, move you, and it can reconstruct and rewire the neurons in your head. And so one of the things right now I'm driving to an event in Virginia. And one of the things that came to my mind as I was driving here is, what do we know for certain? What do we know for sure? Meaning, what do you know without a shadow of a doubt you're excellent at? What do you know about yourself? That's what I'm saying. What do you know about either life or yourself? More importantly, yourself. That you know for certain. Like, for example, if your life was gonna end in a day, have you lived it? Have you lived your life with excellence? Have you pushed the limit of everything that you know that is your strength, that is possible? Have you? Because, a lot of times we kind of mistake comfort with I'm living and or I'm getting by. These are the kinds of things we say. And I'm doing okay, But I guess my question is, do you want to just kind of do okay? Or do you want to be freaking awesome? Do you want to have an extraordinary life? And you got to start somewhere. So if we want to have an extraordinary life, we've got to go with what we know for certain, what we know that we would do in the nth hour to move ourselves forward, to move our loved ones forward, to do for our loved ones, for example. And then my question is what would you be willing to do today forward to push that limit and that question mark? Maybe we don't have certainty. Maybe we're not sure, maybe you're working in a job that you can't stand, but you're just doing it. Maybe you're watching your kids, maybe they're becoming teenagers and they're slipping away and you're not as tight as you wanted to be. So what are you going to do about it? If you knew that the end, because we all have an end, if you knew that the end was there, what would you do differently to magnify your strengths, to implode all of those limiting beliefs that, I just can't, I'm not sure, I'm afraid? So just think about that. First of all, what do we know for sure? What do you know for sure? Maybe you've been through hardship. Maybe you've hit bankruptcy and you had to claim bankruptcy, and that's incredibly hard. How do you recover from hardship is the question. How do we recover from hardship? And do you bounce back to some kind of basis, flatline? Do you bounce back with certainty? Do you bounce back with massive action? How do you do that? Do you love better? Do you live better? Do you influence more? Huge, right? That's it. That's one of the questions of our lives. What are we here on the planet to be or to become? So you notice on the My Aha Mind Space, the 5 words, the 5 verbs that are underneath My Aha Mind's brand are awaken, shift, grow, flow, be. Awaken, shift, grow, flow, be. And if we just thought about our life that way, how are we living awake? Are you awake? Are you on co-pilot? Just kind of like, you let the navigation run you, or are you running your life? Huge question. So are we awake? First question. Are we growing? And what are we doing to grow? If we have, 6 different facets of our life, maybe even just use 5 even, because it's easy to use your fingers. So, our personal relationships, our career, our financial security, because security is the number one thing. Most of the time it's financial. But if you think about that, so how about our spirituality? How about our health and wellness? So if you even just thought of 5 things, how are you growing in those 5 areas? Are you stagnant in any one particular area? And also, I'm here to tell you that it's okay to be afraid of trying to balance things, because it's always not easy. It's about progress. Progress is joy. Progress is happiness. Progress is the thing that can fill your soul. If we're not moving forward and we're stagnant in one area, it almost can deaden the rest of them. Ever think about that? Let's say, for example, your health and wellness. You don't have the energy that you'd love to have. So what are you going to do about that? How are you going to grow? So you can wake up in that area and say, you know what, frick this. I want more from my health and wellness. And I'm not saying you got to go buy a packaged, powder drink. I'm not saying you got to sign up for a bunch of stuff. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, are you doing the basics? In every one of these areas, there are the basics. Always. And so the basics are the most pure thing. They're the spiritual thing. They're the soul thing. They're the thing that people have been doing for generations and it worked. Okay? Sometimes we throw away all those old ideas, quote unquote, because they're older, but those are the basics. Okay? It's called stop putting stuff in your mouth and start increasing your exercise, how much you move and how much you get off the couch. That's it. It's very simple. And if you're not used to doing that, you have to start by being awake and understanding that in order to change the way that you have an outcome, you've got to change your pattern. And if your pattern is every night at 7 o'clock, you start getting on the couch, you must make an effort and plan it out and replace an old habit with a new habit, or replace an old action with a new action. So think about that. How will you do that? Let's say it's finances. Let's say it's money and security. And let's say it's not where you want to be. My question to you is, how will you, again, awaken, shift, grow, flow, be? How will you awaken on it? What will you say to yourself? How will you talk more realistic to yourself, get down to the heart of the matter, the truth of the matter? Do you have retirement? Have you saved for your child's college funds? Are you comfortable? Do you have a savings plan? What have you been doing that is not the same as it's always been, but that you may sort of dream about, desire, wish about? Think about that. Those wishes and those dreams, they're a call to your soul. They're a call to your spirit. And our whole entire lives are built and constructed so that we can evolve. Again, awaken, shift, grow, flow, be. It's really a beautiful thing. So, hello there, Miss Lynn Getz. So nice to see you. One of my amazing coaching clients. So anyway, we were talking about finances. So when you think about finances, if you stay in the same thought process of, I'm okay, I wonder what would it be like if you actually shook that up and went from I'm just okay to I deserve and I require to be great in my life. My children deserve and require me to be great, excellent, outstanding, different than okay, different than good. Okay? Amping it up in our life to grow. So how do we grow? So we grow by hiring a coach. We grow by, hello, Miss Selena. Mwah, mwah, mwah. We grow by hiring a coach. Because why? Because just as an aside, I'm a coach, you know that. Well, here's the thing. What sometimes happens in our lives, and you tell me if I'm wrong, you're living your life, you're inside you're right within it. A coach is someone who stands outside with you, but alongside you, outside though, your life, and starts to reflect inward on things you may not be able to see, or things you may not be able to hear. So how do we grow? We get maybe a partner, get a coach, get an accountability partner or something. Get some books, surround yourself by mentors. I mean, I always say, I have the best mentors in the world. I have Tony Robbins, never met the guy, but I consider him my mentor. I consider Darren Hardy my mentor. I consider Brendon Burchard my mentor, and I have met Brendon. And I coach with him and I work with him. So my point is, figure out who is going to bring you up to that next level. Because a lot of times we can't do it ourselves, and that's nothing to be ashamed of or feel guilty about. It's the way of the world, and once we understand that, because we have to ask tough questions, that's how we're awake. Got to ask tough questions about that. Am I living my best life? And if I had no fear, how would I be living? If I didn't have a fear against investing in myself and spending a little money, but then, because the thing is about spending, about investing in yourself, you actually have to be ready to do the work that the coach, summons you to do. It's powerful. It's very powerful. Many times you get a coach and you don't necessarily take advantage of what you're learning. I'm not saying anybody here on this call, but I'm saying that's a question that you got to ask. You got to be ready. So you got to be clear. So you got to ask yourself, you got to be awake. And that's very powerful. You got to be awake. Awaken, shift, grow, flow, be. All right, so pick one of the other 5. Where do you feel as though you're coming short? Remember, we talked about intimate relationships, finances, and security. And I'm not talking about I'm married to the guy who makes, $400,000, so I'm secure. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about within your own life, within your own soul, okay? How about your career? Where are you in things with regard to your career? And I am saying that today, being a stay-at-home mom is hugely important. But some of us, not all of us, but some of us have a desire to be something a little bit in addition to that, okay? Which is powerful. How about spirituality, man? Who are you connected to? What are you connected to that's bigger than yourself? And then 5, your health and wellness. Your health and wellness. I mean, what are we doing for the life of this particular body that you've been given? What are we doing? I know that's a weakness in my area. And I am absolutely 150% committed between now and December to absolutely reroute the neural pathways and change that shit up. How about you? So even if we just took 5 things and thought about it, how can we awaken, shift, grow, flow, and be in more of a balance of those things? Or you might say to yourself, you know what, I'm committed to my spirituality for the next 2-3 months. Excellent. What are you going to do to shift and grow so that you can flow and be in that particular area? So maybe it's that you find a new church, a new, organization that brings your spirituality to the next level. Maybe it's like, for me, I stopped going to church after a long time. And I was brought up Catholic. Hello, Courtney. And I was brought up Catholic. I am a Jesus freak. I love me some Jesus. And that I attribute to my upbringing. And I am super close to the Lord, right? But I stopped going to Mass. I'm just talking about me, my experience. So what did I do to replace that? So in my mind, I needed spirituality. And so I had to amp up my growth in that area. I shook it up. I woke up to it. I shifted a little bit. And then I started to grow. And I did things where I would read thought leaders about spirituality, spiritual practice. I started to look at other religions, Buddhism in particular. So that's how I had to shake that up. And I had to trust. And I also got a coach. So keep that in mind. Remember, I said a lot of these practices, you can't do it alone. You can get a coach, you can get a pastor, you can get a motivator, a speaker, a mentor, something. Preferably someone who can actually talk to you. Keep in mind, everyone, that we are the sum of the 5, again, 5, here's another reference to 5, but we are the sum total of the 5 people we hang around with the most. Think about that. I'm not talking about the kids, although they inspire you, right? They inspire you to be the freaking most awesome parent there is. You will settle for nothing less. I am tenacious as a mother. Tenacious. That's me. However, who are you surrounding yourself with? And I'll let 3 be books. I'll let 2 or 3 be books that you read. But get yourself to a place where you're surrounding yourself regularly with people who amp up your power. Do it. You deserve it. We have one life. Let's do it. Right? And so figure out who that's going to be. Figure out where that will be. Figure out what is it that you want. Oh, this is powerful. This is right here is powerful. It's something that I talk to a lot my team about, which is goal setting. So get this, you guys, this is powerful. Goal setting in any one of those 5 areas, right, isn't just about setting a goal. It's about imagining, getting awake, that creative spot in your right brain that imagines the individual that you will become, right? That you need to become to have that change happen so that you can flow in that change. So Selena, for example, Selena is positive, very, very powerful on her health and wellness. Okay? So she focuses on that. She knows who she needs to be, right? She's also has a wonderful partner in her husband to step into parenthood. He challenges her, she challenges him. You guys are amazing to watch. By the way, Facebook is a gift. Social media is a gift. Use it as such. Use it only as such. Selena, I love you because I can see you on the West Coast and you inspire me. Lynn, you inspire me to take that parenting to that next step when you are in the most dire straits. Courtney, the same. All right? Courtney, you have grown in the last 2 years, absolutely amazing growth. Just amazing growth. And you know what you just did? You just switched up how you talk to yourself. That's it. You switched up how you talk to yourself and you gave yourself new goals, and then you had to envision who you were going to become to do 8 parties a month. It's freaking unbelievable. Yeah, you had a coach. Yeah, damn it, you did. And then you took it and ran and you flew. It's amazing what we can do when we have that inspiration. So 5 people, who are going to be the 5 closest people that are going to take yourself, your amazing badass self, to that next level? I am absolutely privileged to know each one of you. I am privileged to work with any of you. That's my life's dream, is to help influence you to get to that next place in those 5 things. So anyway, I'm just thrilled to share these ideas. As always, I was so inspired, and the place that we started was, what is it that you know for certain about yourself and about living? What do you know for certain? Here's one thing I know, that life is short. We lose people every day. And if you were in the place of almost losing, this opportunity, this time, what would you do differently? How would you behave? Who would you become? We got that power. Find your strengths. Write 5 strengths down right now. Write 5 strengths that you know for sure. You're tenacious. You're a passionate learner. Passionate learner means you're gaining knowledge, but knowledge is not the power, right? Action is the power. Action from the knowledge is the power, right? If you're in a funk, ladies and gentlemen, how are you going to get out? How are you going to get out? You got to change the mental state. You got to change. You got to stop thinking and start doing. Stop thinking and start doing. That's powerful. So, what do you know for sure about life and about your own self? What have you gone through? Have you done the rewind of your life? Have you gone back to see what have been the most challenging and yet the most learning, the places in your life where you learn the most? How many of us have had tough times with our parents? Not one of us is excluded in that. Okay? We've had dysfunctional upbringings. How will you look at your parents and say, holy crap? I know, Lynn, you just did this as a tribute to your dad. I know he's proud of you, and I know he's resting in peace. But the thing is you look to see how have you become who you've become today. Why? Because of their influence on you. Hey, listen, and it can even be bad influence. It can even be ridiculous influence. And you can say, you know what? That was emblazoned into my brain, and that actually helped me to be who I am today. To want different, to want more, to be better as a spouse and a parent. Whatever it is, thank them. Find the gratitude and find the forgiveness. So live in a space of forgiveness, you guys, because that's what we know for sure works. Coming from a place of gratitude, we know for sure works. Lynn, you know this. We've done this exercise. If you can five things that you're grateful for every day, and don't make it that you're living the moment. Make it that you're living the moment. You're not just kind of superficially going through what you're grateful for. Live that experience again and again and again regularly. Even if you didn't do it every single day, you did it 4 days out of 7. What do you know for sure? You all know that we have the ability to redirect and to direct our day and the outcome of our day, the outcome of our moments. We have the ability to do that. We are empowered. We are absolutely 150% not victims of our circumstances. You know that. That you know for certain. And here's another thing I know for certain. I am 100%. I take 100% responsibility for everything that happens in my life. That's scary as well as freeing. That is freaking scary as hell, but it's also freeing. So, who will you get around that challenges you to listen to yourself, how you're talking differently? Who will you get around that challenges you to step up, to be the leader that you were born to be? You know, you were made by our Creator. What a gift. We are made here in this life to be the absolute best that is in our skin. You know what that is. 5 things. Think about it. Your health and wellness, your spirituality, your financial security, your career, your intimate and interpersonal relationships. Think about those things. And then let's work together, or find a mentor, find a coach, something. Anyway. Woo! That was a good inspiration. I got to thank both Tony Robbins and my buddy Brendan, because I was just listening to an interview between the two of them, and I was like, that is just powerful. So I wanted to share it with you. Anyway, I love you, and I hope you can feel that. And you will be seeing a lot more of me on video. Because why? Because I am challenging myself to step it up. So I'm excited. And that's why I did it on my Aha Minds page, because I am going to refresh this page, and it's going to blow your mind. Bye, everybody.